I used to think I was doing enough, checking off tasks, staying busy, keeping things together, but I was only doing the bare minimum to get by. I'm not dismissing the effort I made, but I noticed a pattern. After every burst of productivity, I'd reward myself with comfort. That comfort was stretched into endless scrolling, hours of YouTube, or lounging around. Because after all my hard work, I deserved the rest. Eventually, I found myself stuck in a cycle, constantly starting new projects and chasing new ideas, but barely finishing any of them. It felt productive because it was exciting. That rush of starting something new made me feel like I was moving forward, but really, I was caught in shiny object syndrome, always chasing potential, never cultivating consistency. Then I stumbled across a verse that felt like a mirror held up to my life. Lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. Proverbs 10:4. I asked myself, am I actually being lazy? The question didn't sit right at first. I never saw myself as lazy. I've always worked hard, showing up at my job, working out almost daily, cooking my own meals, studying to keep my GPA above a 3.5, and I even graduated college with my bachelor's degree. So I thought, God, how could I really be lazy? But then it hit me. Laziness doesn't always look like doing nothing. When we think of the word lazy, we picture someone lying on the couch all day eating chips and avoiding responsibility. But the Bible's definition goes deeper. The Bible views laziness not just as a harmless bad habit, but as a serious moral failing that hurts both the individual and their community. Instead of giving a strict definition, Scripture describes a lazy person often called a sluggard. Someone who makes up ridiculous excuses to avoid responsibilities, sleeps their life away, lacks the inner drive to finish tasks, and expect to reap rewards without actually doing the work. Ultimately, the biblical cure for laziness isn't to become a burned-out workaholic, since God highly values healthy, intentional rest, but rather to treat our daily jobs and responsibilities as a form of worship, working hard at everything we do as if we are working directly for the Lord. I began to see how the spirit of laziness had crept into my life, not as inactivity, but as busyness without fruitfulness. I was pouring energy into things that looked promising, such as starting a business I never launched, investing time in relationships that drained me, spending hours researching ideas I never executed. All that motion gave me the illusion of progress, but it wasn't growing toward the vision that God had already shown me, which was using my gifts in speaking and teaching to encourage others in their faith. There is a very real type of laziness that hides behind a mask of productivity, something often called productive procrastination. This happens when you avoid the hard, necessary tasks by filling your time with easy, low-priority chores. The Bible hints at this trap in Proverbs 28:19, which says that someone who works their land will have plenty, but the one who chases fantasies or empty pursuits will end up in poverty. Busy laziness is choosing the empty pursuit of feeling productive without actually producing any real fruit or results. In everyday life, this looks like spending 3 hours color-coding a study schedule or organizing your highlighters instead of actually writing the essay that's due tomorrow. At work, it's endlessly sorting your email inbox into perfectly labeled folders to avoid having a difficult, necessary conversation with your boss. At home, it's deciding to reorganize your spice rack when the sink is overflowing with dirty dishes and the bills needs to be paid. It can even look like spending weeks researching a goal, like watching endless videos on how to get fit or start a business and buying all the right gear, but never actually doing the work to make it happen. In all these cases, you are spending energy, but you are still dodging your true responsibilities. It's a sneaky form of laziness because at the end of the day, you feel exhausted even though the most important work remains completely untouched. I had created a comfortable middle ground where I could stay busy enough to feel productive and never push myself beyond what felt safe. I was avoiding the real work, the kind that demands full commitment, vulnerability, and perseverance. Deep down, I didn't want to face the discomfort and responsibility required to step into the level of fruitfulness God was calling me toward. It was easier to dabble in many things than to fully commit to the one thing that mattered most. God reminded me that true fruitfulness comes not from constant activity, but from focused, intentional work on what truly matters. the task, relationships, and calling He's placed in your life, even when they don't feel immediately rewarding. Going back to Proverbs 10:4, it teaches us that lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. I realized that poverty doesn't just mean lack of money. It means lack of growth, peace, or fulfillment. And when I looked at my life honestly, I saw the poverty my laziness had created. I wasn't just broke financially. I was spiritually bankrupt, emotionally depleted, and lacking the peace and fulfillment God intended for me. In Matthew 25, the master gave 3 servants talents. 2 invested and multiplied them, but 1 buried his talent out of his fear, which still requires the work of digging up the hole and covering it back up. When the master returned, he called the servant wicked and lazy, not because he stole, but because he was unfruitful with what he was given. And I was convicted. That wicked and lazy servant was me. I had to face a hard truth. God never entrusted me with much because I didn't position myself to be trusted with much. And in that moment, I saw it clearly. I was the lazy and wicked servant, the one who buried what he had been giving instead of multiplying it, the one who made excuses instead of taking action. That realization broke me. Yet, even in my unfaithfulness, God still provided for all my needs. That's when I fell to my knees and repented. I confessed to God that I had been a poor steward of everything He's given me. My time, my money, my gifts, my relationships, my resources. I prayed, God, teach me wisdom. Show me how to be your good and faithful servant, stewarding wisely what you've entrusted to me. And from that moment, I committed to taking action accordingly, not in my own strength, but in obedience to His leading. Now I know, true diligence is not just working hard. It's obediently cultivating what God has called you to, even when it's uncomfortable, mundane, or unexciting. Before, I would find all the ways you could make money online and try to pursue them all. Drop shipping one week, affiliate marketing the next, a YouTube channel on the side, and a print-on-demand business brewing in the background. I was scattered, chasing every opportunity that promised success, but never committing long enough to see any of them through. Now I commit only to the projects that God desires for me. And right now that focus is building my brand, Bread and Journey, for His glory. It costs me consistency, perseverance, and discipline. Even when no one's watching, even when views are low, even when no one's purchasing anything. But here's what I discovered. My content is so much more purposeful and intentional when it's directed toward what He's called me to do. My channel is about nourishing others spiritually, sharing lessons of faith, stewardship, and transformation. Food and travel is just the entry point. The real bread is the word and the journey we're on together. I look forward to my journey with the Lord together, not because I have it all figured out, but because I'm finally walking in the right direction.